Hey there, this is Therese Skelly, and I am so excited that you are going to be listening to an episode of the Fiercely Brilliant podcast. Do you like those two words? Fiercely Brilliant. My hypothesis is that you are here for a reason. We all are. Our souls have led us on journeys that have very often taken some twists and turns, and sometimes it's not pretty. Sometimes there's struggle and there's loss and there's challenge, and in the middle of that, there's always a way out. And it's those times that often lead us into our great life and work. So you're going to hear stories in these episodes of myself and other beautiful people that share the journey. They share how they got to the place where they're standing, working in their brilliance, and being the powerful leaders that they are. So stay tuned and enjoy this episode. Hey, this is Therese Skelly, and I want to ask you today, do you ever get like a wee smidge triggered in conversations? Maybe you're sweetie and you are having a little thing, and all of a sudden you're like, oh! Or maybe you have to talk to a team member and tell them that their performance wasn't so great and they need to shape up. Or maybe you are about to make the decision to raise your rates and you need to have that conversation. So what I'm talking about, so years and years ago, when I was a therapist, I used to see a lot of couples, and I love seeing couples. I love. I've always appreciated relationships and the dynamics and the shit and all the things. Because, how you are in relationships is it's like relationship shines a light on all the stuff. You could be a single person and be totally solid and rocking, and then you bring a relationship in and suddenly you're a codependent mess, or you can't be assertive, or all your shit comes out, right? So I really have this special fascination with dynamics of interpersonal communication and connection. So I'm going to talk to you today about a concept called differentiation. I know I'm getting these big therapy words in, but it's a really super helpful perspective, and I want to give you some visuals that are going to help you basically not be reactive. I just got off the phone today with a client who she had to do a transaction with a former business partner, and she was so fucking reactive. She was in like, I had to do this, I shouldn't do that. Like she regressed, right? Here's this grown, beautiful, strong, badass woman feeling guilty for having her right to do what she was supposed to do. It's like she got really activated, really triggered, really regressed. Now, raise your hand if you have ever not done that. Like, we've all done that. This is why I see, it's so fascinating to me. I can see women that are so powerful in business, just rock stars, and boom, in their personal relationships, they can't navigate it. They just don't, right? So, concept of differentiation. So, where do I even start? Let me tell you a story. I'll tell you a story about this. Basically, the concept of differentiation is you are responsible for your own experience. Do you hear a theme? I'm in this whole self-responsibility thing. I'm like super into that theme these days. So you are responsible for your own experience. Nobody makes you mad. Nobody makes you sad. Nobody has the power. But what happens is, put a situation in front of us, our nervous systems very often get activated. Okay. So I'll tell you a horror story. Okay. I was a therapist and I was working with, I knew the couple, and the man had gone on to see another male counselor. I had seen them as a couple, and the man went on to see a male counselor, and I was working with a female. So the wife, and they had gone on a vacation, and the wife wore a bikini on a vacation. She was a beautiful woman, very classy, elegant woman, wore a bikini. The husband lost his freaking mind. And the husband is like shaming her for wearing a bikini. He thought it was so horrible, so shameful, and demanded that she change because, oh my God. But what happened is the guy was a sex addict. And so think about, he was uncomfortable because he was a sex addict. He was sexualizing. He had issues with boundaries. And so we went to a therapist basically saying, you won't believe what my wife did. And that fucking therapist said, well, your wife should dress in a way that would make you feel comfortable. All the women in our women's group that I was running at the time were just losing their mind, because actually it should have been like, well, dude, it's your wife's prerogative. She's a grown woman. She's not, inappropriate. Maybe you could look at your own side of the street, why you're so troubled and triggered by this. Do you understand that? And I think sometimes there's a lot of, we'll just go along to get along. Well, it's okay. Just if he's uncomfortable, just don't do it. And I'm not saying in your relationship, you just have to just tell everybody to screw off. And there are times when you say, you know what? It's not a problem. I can sacrifice that. That's no big deal. I get it. Relationships are about compromise and are about, wanting your partner to feel comfortable at times. But if it comes at the cost of your own sovereignty, or comes at the cost of you constantly giving yourself away, giving up little bits of yourself, is going to fail. And I don't mean just intimate relationships. I mean any relationship. Anytime you have to have a communication whereby you assert yourself, you express yourself, there's no way you can live a fiercely brilliant life if you're worried about what somebody will think of you. If you're worried that you might come across as too pushy or bitchy. You cannot be a powerful leader. That's it. Okay? Let's just go there. And I want you, leaders lead. Leaders have to jump out in front. They have to do what they do. What the expression, haters gonna hate, right? Leaders gonna lead and haters gonna hate. What that means to me is a leader has to be impenetrable. A leader has to be able to say, it doesn't matter if you don't like this. It doesn't matter if this is not the popular opinion. It doesn't matter if I'm ruffling some feathers. This is what I'm talking about, and I'm not going to back down. I don't mean it in a tyrannical way. It's just this is my statement. This is my statement. Okay. So years ago, when I was doing the therapy, I learned this concept called differentiation, because truthfully, marital therapy just doesn't really work. The research on it is it doesn't really work a lot. John Gottman is, if you want to read Dr. John Gottman, that's the most researched. Those are good resources. There's a concept though called differentiation, and I want to bring it to you. And there's a really good visual. So do you all know what a tuning fork is? I wish I had one here on video. I don't have a tuning fork, but you know what a tuning fork is, right? You strike a tuning fork and it vibrates. And imagine if you bring another tuning fork in proximity, do you know what happens? It too starts to vibrate. So differentiation looks like this. You're with somebody, you're in a conversation, and they're getting worked up, or they're saying stuff maybe that you're noticing yourself triggered. Now, what we normally try to do in relationships, we either shut down, get submissive so as to try to shut them up or placate them, or we get bigger so as to shut them down, right? Either way, we're being reactive. We're the tuning fork that is like, yeah. How many times have you had, lots of couples would come in and say, we have the same argument over and over. No, we can never solve it. Exactly. So somebody walks in. I mean, here's where I get guilty. Guilty, that's not the right word. Here's where it still affects me, right? I'm totally cool with my partner. Like if there's a moment there, if it gets I can just hold firm knowing he's having his experience, or that I get to have my experience. I don't get reactive because I know this. With my kiddos, it's a little harder. So my son will come in and he'll have a bad day and I get activated, meaning, what do I have to do? I got to fix it. Oh God, right? I am activated. It doesn't usually go well. So the reason I'm telling you this is to just paint a picture that you don't have to have this experience. You don't have to, when somebody is either anxious or afraid or depressed or triggered or whatever, you can be in relationship and stay close without caving, without trying to control them, without trying to without falling apart, basically. Now, why in the world would I be telling you this as a business owner? This is therapy talk, Therese. What are you saying? If you don't know the tools to be self-regulated, if you don't know, okay, I know that client's going to come in and they might want a refund, or they might actually say to me, I don't know that this is working for me. I've had a lot of coaches that I've worked with before, it always surprises me because a client will lodge a complaint, or not even lodge, that's not too strong, will basically say, I don't know this is working. And my clients immediately, this is what happens, immediately get into, oh my God, I did something wrong. Or, oh my God, I should have done more. Or, oh my God, they're mad at me. Or, oh my God, they meant leave. See, tuning fork, client comes in, kind of activated, and then boom. And you have two people that are not in their right brain, basically. I don't mean literal, the right brain. They're not able to be logical, but they're not grounded in present day because oh no, I didn't do enough. I did it wrong. Maybe I should have done more. That's generally a childhood wound. And so that's what happens, right? And so the goal is, number one, if you get the visual of, am I being activated right now? Somebody's in my face, or somebody's lodging a comment about me, or challenging me. Can I do some breaths, ground myself, understand they're having their experience? It might have nothing to do with me, even if they're like saying it does, right? You have to get to the point of disengaging. Differentiation means we're not one. We're separate. Differentiation means the ability to hold on to yourself in the face of another person's emotional experience. And so how you do that, number one, is to notice it happening. Because when you're jacked up, like when you're, breathing more rapidly, when you're moving around a lot, when you're like, oh God, whew, that is not the time to have a conversation. You want to say, okay, client, you know what? I hear that you are not having good results. And you could say something like, can we get back to visiting this? I need to think about some of that. Like, it's okay to ask for space. It's okay to honor, like, oof, that caught me a little off guard. Can you just give me a minute? I just want to take some breaths, because I want to be really present to you in this conversation, right? You're with your beloved, if they're in a and you get sucked in, the agreement is, we're gonna take a minute. I'm not leaving. I'm not running away. I'm not just fleeing the coop here. I just need 5 minutes just to calm down, and then I'll come back and be present because I want to hear this. So the goal of relationships is to stay present and connected, right? When you are not differentiated, when you're both tuning forks, just freaking the freak out, nothing is moving forward. So I want you, number one, to start noticing it. Number two, it starts in the physiology. Usually people will have a physical response. The client I spoke with this morning, she was like, yeah, my chest gets tight and my head starts spinning. Like, there's a physiologic response. So it's not like this is surprising, but I think people just think this is the norm. And this is like, oh yeah, oh God. And who wants to be in that conversation, right? When you're all jacked up, you're gonna want to, flee or fight. Some of us flee, some of us fight, right? And a better way is if you understand, not he's making me mad, not she's saying things that hurt me, but wow, when I hear that, I experience myself as getting kind of jacked up right now. So hold on, what can I do? Nobody is making you feel anything. Okay, I'm just going to hammer that theme. You are a sovereign being. Nobody has the power to take your joy away. Nobody has the power to make you a blabbering idiot, right? Like, you might give the power, you might abdicate your authority and your sovereignty. I've done that a bazillion times in my codependent history, so I sure get it. But being on the other side of it, I don't collapse anymore. I don't fall apart. I mean, boyfriend can be, a dick for a moment, or we can have a misunderstanding, and I just take space, right? I just take a moment and I just lean back in. Like, let's talk this through. We're not going to keep going. Like, we have a rule in our relationship. It's like, if you don't talk it out, you'll act it out, which means acting out could be getting resentful or being passive aggressive or being distant. And I'm like, yeah, no. We're going to talk it out. But we got to both be neutral. And we don't want to be regressed, either fighting or fleeing. And so again, this is a little bit off topic for, business world, but it's not really, because how you do anything is how you do everything. And I just literally in 2 days have had 2 clients super activated by conversations. And so I'm like, all right, it's in the space. We got to talk about it. So I would love to hear from you. Do you relate to this? Do you relate to this? The concept of differentiation, again, is the ability to hold on to yourself in the face of another person's experience. Have you ever thought about that? Most people don't. Most people just go through life just, well, that was weird. God, he just sucked me in and we were fighting and I don't know what happened. Or, oh my God, I totally got swept in her drama. And you have choice about that. And I'm all about choice for you this year. So I want to hear from you. What do you got? Do you love this concept? Can you see yourself changing it for yourself? That's a really important one, because again, when you have awareness, you have choice, right? And I want you to be aware of things that take you out of your own inner authority, out of your own self-trust. How many times have you been with somebody that kind of gaslit you and you're like, wait, what the fuck? Wait, what? We've all had those experiences. What if you knew so clearly, because you had the sense of like, me, not me. Wait, that is not mine. Wait, you don't get that power, sunshine. No. That's what I want for you. That's how you live a fiercely brilliant life. All right, loves. I want to hear from you. Tell me what you think about this. Do you agree? Do you not agree? I would love to hear your experience. And if I can support you in any way, reach out. Lots of love. Bye now.
Hey, I really appreciate you listening to that last episode. And I would love to get to know you a little bit more and to get to connect with you on a deeper level. And here's what I suggest. I've got a Facebook group that corresponds with the content of these podcasts. It's called Fiercely Brilliant Women in Business with Therese Skelly. So if you just search Facebook, Fiercely Brilliant with Therese Skelly, you'll find the group. It's a really nice group. It's a small group, and I'm super active in it. Each week, we have a lot of supportive conversations. I share a lot of resources. I do a lot of coaching on the spot, and I would love to have you join me there. So if you like the vibe of this podcast and you want to hang out with a pretty darn cool community of women, join us at Fiercely Brilliant on Facebook with Therese Skelly. Alrighty, peace and blessings, and I hope to see you in the group. Bye now.